Hello everybody and welcome to the second edition of Making a Game even though I have no idea how to. Last time we had a primitive demonstration of the procedural generation, however this has been causing quite a few problems as I will explain later, but first let's go over how it works. As I explained before, the map is divided up into areas of 256 by 256 pixels. The reason this is done is because it makes it easier to do procedural generation, because we can just generate a new sector every time the user scrolls beyond the edge of the screen. This would be impossible or very difficult if we tried to generate everything at once, because we'd have to work out for each star whether it needs to be generated or loaded from the disk. That would be rather costly and also be very complicated, so by splitting it up like this it allows fewer calculations to go on and also makes it easier to optimize the code, because we only need to check the stars inside the current sectors for being off screen. There are a few downsides, such as that if a star generates on the boundary of a sector, it is only possible to click on the part that's inside the sector it was generated inside. However, this is a minor issue and I'll probably go over it later. As for what I've actually done since the last video, I've added in the colourful planets that we had last time. These appear in what I'm calling the star system view, which is when you click on a star it shows a view of all the planets and their orbits. This could do with some improvements though, because sometimes the planets intersect each other. The position of each planet is determined by an angle and a radius that get decided when the planet gets generated. Just a quick note here, this was all recorded before I fixed the bug. I fixed the bug. Now we come to the issue that I'm having a lot of trouble with. This is that sometimes the sectors just don't generate, and I don't understand why. They're just either not generating or not rendering correctly, and I've spent a long time, as you can probably see from the time-lapse that I'm probably going to overlay on top of this, I've spent a long time trying to fix that bug, and eventually I did fix it, and I also managed to get my live reaction. So, here it is. Dude, I have figured out the problem. This has only taken me several weeks. But the problem is, when it generates a star, I'm going to have to draw this in like MS Paint as a visualization, but it doesn't generate all the stars that are not currently on screen that need to be generated. When I said star there, I meant sector. Sorry about that. I'll draw an illustration of that. But basically, what I need to do is put in something like or not this cache yx dot generated, and then I need to grab bool generated equals false, then put generated equals true. If this works, so the way to reproduce the problem is go this way, then go down, and then go back. It's generating the sectors! There's no crash, there's no blank spots. Dude, I'm so pleased that I dropped my headphones. Apparently. Oh, that only took me like a week and a half. Right. Now we can get back to actually doing some interesting coding instead of solving that bloody bug. So what was going on is, say this is our viewport here. Then, basically, and say these are our sectors here. Excuse my bad drawing. Wow, this is really bad. Say these are sectors and this thing in front is our viewport. Then, and as the viewport moves over this way, it'll generate more sectors to fill the viewport, right? Like this. Then, as the viewport moves down, it'll generate the sectors, just as before, but it'll generate these sectors. The problem is though, the way I'm doing it, it resizes the vector so that these sectors here are in an undefined state. So, and they don't get generated because they're not null, they're in an undefined state. So when the viewport moves over this way and intersects with one of them, it tries to draw it, and usually either it just doesn't appear or it causes a segmentation fault. And so that's been the problem. So all I did was I added, when they get generated correctly, I added a generate flag that is true when it's generated correctly, and it's false by default in the default constructor that I have. Over here, you can see in the sector class, we have a default constructor that just does nothing. It doesn't initialize it. It basically means it's, yeah, that's undefined state, basically. And so the actual constructor is this, but that doesn't even do it. When it's actually generated with the void generate function, it sets generated to true, but by default it's false. And then down in the sector map, you can see here, if it's less than or equal to y, say on the y-axis, we'll focus on for now, then it resizes the actual list, and then creates, like, does cool stuff on the list. I don't really understand this, even though I wrote it. And then it needs to generate, but it only generates the sector at the coordinates that it needs to generate it at. It doesn't generate the sectors that are automatically created by the resizing of the vector. And so basically what I've done is I've just added this not cache yx.generated. So if it's not generated, then generate it. And that is probably complicated. I appreciate that, and I don't expect you to follow this, but I guess if it's interesting, then oh well. Anyway, now, in theory, I can get on with doing some more content in the game. So, I'm always bad at this, so I would like to ask for some help. I would like to ask you to comment down in the description, oh, well done me, to comment down in the comments what part of the game I should work on. Like, I could either work on the star generation system, because right now they look terrible. I could work on the sort of this planet thing, because right now the planets are not generating quite as they should be. I could work on the planets themselves, so like make an isometric tile map of the planets, so when you click on a planet it becomes like a sort of isometric tile map. Or I could work on adding some sort of statistics to each planet, like how they behave. Or I could work on anything. I'm not sure. There's so much to do, I'm not sure what to do. So, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Hopefully, next episode won't be quite so long away, because I don't have this stupid bug to work on anymore. But wow, I am so pleased I fixed that, because that has taken me so long, and I was stumped for ages. Anyway, I guess that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!